middleweight over the past year and a half.
Gorbich comes out throwing a left hand. So already Giyasov has gone further than he's had to go in his professional career. Good right hand from Giyasov.
A couple years back, Gorbich was able to take a similarly schooled fighter in Radzab Butayev the 8-round distance. So likely that's why he was chosen as the opponent here. Hoping that maybe he could give Giyasov at least more than 15 seconds of work and hopefully some rounds.
Giyasov, another of the fighters who have been training in India.
Said that his boxing idol growing up was Roy Jones Jr. So he started boxing because he saw Roy Jones Jr. He wanted to be like him.
Nice body work. You can see his style. He's very athletic. You can see athleticism all over. Early, he switched over to southpaw, went right back to conventional. He didn't actually throw anything from the southpaw stance, but he showed it.
Very quick-handed.
And at the time he turned pro, he was the #1 rated welterweight in all of amateur boxing. So prospects don't come much brighter than Shahram G'iyosov.
And Gorbich, to his credit, is trying in there.
Absolutely.
Good body shot with the right hand from Giyasov.
Knock it right underneath, counter shot to the body. Nice body shot again.
Yeah. He's very quick, Giyasov.
And perhaps we're seeing the origins of the squirrel nickname, because Gorbich just basically frantically scampers around the ring. That's his style. It's survival mode.
Yeah.
And we're seeing what the theme of the night has been with the Olympians tonight, constantly cutting off the ring and keeping their man on the ropes and in the corners. And so far, that's where Gorbich has spent a majority of this round.
Yep. Nice combination of the body again.
And there's the southpaw switch. Giving Gorbich something else to look at and think about.
Good left hand there. Very effective first round.
And Gorbich tried to go southpaw himself at the very end of the round before the bell rang.
Always be careful. Be careful. The shoulder. When your hands are down, you go to the shoulder and boom.
Well, all of Shahram G'iyosov's stablemates have been fantastic body punchers. We've seen them early on, and he is no different. A dedicated body attack here in the early going. There's a left uppercut. It lands right on the belt line on Gabor Gorbic. Gorbic doesn't give you a whole lot. It's a pretty tight guard, and he's on the move a lot, but Giyasov managed to find that opening.
Round 2 of this 6-round fight.
And really that is the trick with Gorbic. You know, watching many of his past fights, he's been in with a lot of top prospects. He's fairly composed in there. He knows how to survive, and he knows how to not get hit. But generally, when you do open him up and when you do hit him, you can get him out of there.
That's what's going on right at the moment. 3 good body shots started all of that.
Gorbic, he covers up very well. He catches the punches, a lot of them on the arms. Except for that one.
I give that a 9. And he landed the finish, too.
Now, he was calling an uppercut there, and he tried to play it off. Was hoping that the referee might have called that a slip, but
not quite.
A for effort.
He's really showing a wide variety. Giyasov very effective here. Another good left hand, right hand behind it, uppercut.
And a lot of lead uppercuts.
Yes, a lot. That's a tough punch to throw.
It's a dangerous punch to throw unless you're explosive as he is. Very explosive puncher. Gets it off quick. Now you see the southpaw switch again.
Yeah, the speed and athleticism and skill it takes to be able to throw that punch safely. I mean, you can ask Evander Holyfield. He won his heavyweight title because Buster Douglas threw one from way too far.
That's
exactly.
Right.
So there's a handful of guys who could pull that off, and Giyasov is a special talent.
Very few. Boxing one-on-one is you don't throw the uppercut from the outside.
Right.
But Giyasov, he's got a lot of athleticism. A lot of athleticism. He's got a little Roy Jones to him.
Yeah, he does. He does.
And there's a flashiness to Giyasov that isn't necessarily there with his stablemates. Not to say that the other fighters aren't also exciting, but Giyasov has a little something extra.
I agree. He throws very judged.
Good body shot. I'm sorry.
Very judge-friendly punches. Very eye-catching punches.
Very quick-handed, too. Very quick-handed. Nice uppercut. Started with the right hand. 2 body shots.
Right back downstairs. I think Gorbich is starting to realize I might as well just take my chances in here.
There's a left hand to the head. 2 body shots. Very impressive round, I thought.
I'll say.
We see some of Giyasov's attack here, and tremendous landing there from
A lot of style
Gorbic
points.
there.
I think a lot of style points.
There it is. Good clean uppercut. And the dismount.
Only got a 4, though, from the Uzbekistani coach.
Guys, Gorbic looked like he was really struggling in the corner there. He seemed to be in some agony. He was breathing deeply. It seemed to be more than fatigue.
Good body shot again. He gives you a different look all the time, too.
Well, when Gorbic faced Liam Williams, which is probably his biggest fight, or his most widely seen fight, he was stopped by a body shot. He showed some susceptibility to being touched to the body. And Giyasov has been nailing him downstairs from the opening bell.
Absolutely. But Gorbic's game. I mean, he's still throwing punches, still trying out there. He's not in survival mode just yet.
Faked the uppercut and then came with the right hand. Left hand, another left hand. Crowd takes up a chant here.
There's that uppercut again. Switches to southpaw again. Just constantly giving you a different look.
Left hand staggered him or he tripped. I'm not sure which.
A little bit of both.
Good body shot again. This for the right hand.
Joel Diaz said that when people see Giyasov in the gym, they're amazed that he has just one professional fight.
That would seem true, right? Good shot.
Now he's really sitting down on his punches.
He throws straight punches, too. He doesn't loop his punches. Giyasov says, come on. Gorbich says, no, you come on. Showed the right hand, hit him with the left, came back with the right hand.
Gorbac has never won a fight outside of Hungary or Slovakia. Not for a lack of trying.
Low blow. That one was a little low.
This is where we could make a squirrel and nuts joke if we wanted.
Not gonna, we're going to let that go, though. We're going to let that one go right by.
Now he's really starting to open up, putting 5 and 6 punches together. I think you would expect to see a lot more of that the next round. He's really start opening up and putting combinations of 5 and 6 punch flurries together.
He's been very good virtually from the opening bell.
Absolutely. But at this point, I think he knows that Gorbic can't hurt him, that he really doesn't have to worry about getting counters. He's quick enough to get out of the way of it. So I think he's going to look for the stoppage this round. I think you'll see him opening up 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, apply even more pressure.
Well, still to come, our main event of the evening. Josue Vargas and Victor Vasquez. Vargas with just the one loss, and Vasquez himself with a 10-3 record. Two guys who've known each other since they were kids. They sparred against each other back when they were 15 years old. No secrets amongst these two.
Now what I'm looking forward to, style-wise, I think it's an excellent fight.
Yeah. This is round 4 of this 6-round fight.
This is what we saw out of Giyasov's friend and stablemate, Murodjon Akhmadaliyev. In this round, Giyasov came out behind that high guard. He has the posture of someone who wants to end this fight.
Body language-wise, yes, you can tell. He's looking to go out there and close the show now. And Gorbic is still game.
Very game. It's a really good fight for Giyasov, I think, especially at this juncture of his career.
Sure,
his second professional fight.
He's a durable guy when it comes to fight.
Experienced. Probably knows a few tricks. Double left hand. There was an uppercut and then a chopping left hand behind it. There's a straight right hand.
That right hand lead is so quick. So quick he gets it off.
Well, these guys like Gorbic, the guys who have been around the block like this, because they've faced so many other good fighters, other prospects, they're a litmus test. And no doubt Giyasov has in mind, okay, Butayev couldn't stop him. He went 8 rounds with him. I need to do better.
Yeah, he's aware. He's definitely aware.
Gorbic's still hanging around and trying.
Stubborn guy.
Nice uppercut. He held him a little bit when he did that, but nice combination again. He talked about how quick that comes. Good right hand, sharp right hand.
And Gorbic is, at this point, playing 4 corners. He's going from one corner to the next to the next. At no point is any of the action in the middle of the ring anymore.
No, but he's taking punishment in all 4 corners, too.
He's getting punished corner to corner. Referee Eddie Claudio's getting a little bit close here. He's taking a good look at the action.
Yep. Final 10 seconds of round number 4, and a dominant performance so far for Shahram G'iyosov. We're coming back.
Since that MRI, life is good.
Yep. Called the doctor the same day.
Now look at me. Old lazy bones.
Told you. Medical Arts has the best equipment, and the doctors are trained at top hospitals.
I knew I was in good hands there. I
Felt it in your bones.
Every single one.
Honey, I can always see right through you.
Equipment is important, but the doctors make the real difference.
To the man, but he was persistent, kept pushing his hand. On top of my every move as I walk through the cars of his showroom, I start feeling tense and my back gets tight. This is not what I like, but I try to stay bright. I'm not into this dance, it doesn't feel like romance, especially when it comes to finance. Then I came to Nissan of Queens. Totally different vibe, totally different scene. One goal, same team, one role, starring me at the dealership called Nissan of Queens.
So we come to round 5. Dominant performance thus far for Shahram G'iyosov. 2 shots to the body and the left of the head. Once again, a warning for low blows. That was only slightly low, in my opinion.
I think Giyasov just wants to get rid of him at this point. Knockout is on his mind. Getting this fight over with.
Well, and honestly, judging by Gorbich's body language, that doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world to him either.
No, I know.
Now he's right on top of him. He's cutting the ring off.
He's doing everything right, I think.
Oh, he's doing everything right all night long.
Very impressed with how quick-handed he is.
Yeah, again, phenomenal hand speed and athleticism for a guy who tonight is fighting at 150 pounds.
So what's his ultimate weight? Is he 47? Is he 54?
I think he comes back down to 147. You know, as an amateur, he's fighting at 52, so he can get down to 147. But for these fights early in his career, he doesn't need to melt down to 147 more often than he actually has to.
Again, nice combination. Very high connect percentage.
Very high. I mean, he's shown Gorbic just about everything he can possibly show him at this stage of the game. This stage of the fight, he's hit him with everything.
I think what's exciting is the possibility of us seeing Giyasov in there with someone who will open up a little bit more.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You know, Gorbic is a guy who, because he doesn't throw a whole lot and is very defensively minded, he can make you look like you have a vast offensive arsenal because you can throw anything. He's not going to throw back, or not that often. But with Giyasov, this isn't a mirage. He is the real deal. No pun intended.
I think so, too. Good body shot again. Just kind of having his way, doing whatever he wants. Still 45 seconds left in this round. That has a push. It's not a knockdown.
Gorbic is taking a shellac at this point, though.
Yes.
Don't push him down. Ref, you don't want to fight. He's dying.
Has a tendency to hold and hit a little bit.
He does, but you know what? Gorbic is putting his head down.
That's true.
Ref, he's not fighting back.
Gorbic's ducking very low, so puts the head down there.
Gorbic celebrated at the end of that round. Is that just being alive, or
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I'm not sure what there is to celebrate.
I don't think he feels he's ahead on points.
In a scheduled 6 round, he knows he's now in the 6th and final round.
That's right.
He might not be getting stopped tonight.
That's wrong, Gabby.
Lost no medical suspension. He can come back and fight next week if he wants to.
I'm on the knee. I'm on the knee.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 6th and final round.
So, final 3 minutes of this fight, and I'm sure Giyasov will still try to get his man out of there.
Well, his pro debut only went 13 seconds.
Yeah.
6th and final round. Got some good work in tonight. Valuable experience.
That was a good shot, and it hurt him right to the top of the head.
Stop.
Talking to Giyasov, he mentioned he's seen every type of style given his vast amateur background, but this style, the survivalist, is really native to pro boxing.
Sure.
Someone like Gorbich doesn't really exist in the amateur circuit. You would never fight him. So there are still things that Giyasov can learn in the pro game, and this fight is teaching him some of those things.
Absolutely. Well, he didn't learn anything in his pro debut.
No.
Right. 13 seconds. So
Definitely not.
He learned plenty tonight. And Gorbic is still throwing punches back. He's still game.
Another low blow, turned left hand again with another low blow.
No warning from Eddie Claudio.
Pretty crafty, isn't he?
And this is indicative of what we're talking about. I mean, Giyasov is walking straight at him with his hands down, and Gorbic is not going to let his hands go.
Gone from Lomachenko style to a Sergio Martinez style.
Yeah, that's right. Inside a minute remaining in this one. Nice uppercut. Trying to finish it with a flourish.
Gorbic gets a nice little overhand right in.
Good body shot. Another right hand. Another right hand.
20 seconds remaining in the 6th and final round.
And it appears Giyasov, Gorbic will survive at that. Are they going to call that a knockdown?
No,
That should be a slip. Yeah.
Back foot came out of the ring.
And that's it. So Gorbic, to his credit, survives, took a lot of punishment.
And he earned his paycheck.
He sure did. And Giyasov, on the other hand, very impressive.
Well, Gorbic dancing, celebrating in the ring. And that should kind of tell you what his goal was coming into tonight's fight.
Probably.
But all in all, I think it was good for Giyasov just to get those professional rounds in.
No question about it. Especially,
I agree.
Especially after a pro debut that lasted 13 seconds.
And I don't think, just because he didn't get the guy out of there, certainly doesn't take any of the luster away from him. I like him very much.
Absolutely not. And again, this is a guy who's been in there with Butayev, with Liam Williams, with other names, guys who are vastly more experienced as professionals. The fact that he was able to get a win over a guy like Gorbic in his second pro fight, that's impressive enough, even without a knockout.
I agree. Gorbic, he's a tough character. He didn't stop fighting.
That was a really good win for Shahram G'iyosov. Calls himself Wonder Boy. Modestly, he proclaims.
Yes.
I love him.
That's a little more modest than perfect guy.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Right now, he's wondering how he couldn't stop Gorbic.
I'm sure that's right. I'm sure that's right. The guy was tough. The guy was game. Took everything there was. adjustment of the scorecard here. Not quite sure what that's about.
Maybe mistakenly gave a round to Gorbich.
Yes, and it would have been just that. All right, with that, we are just about set to hear the decision. And here again, Dave Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of action, we go to the judges' score totals. They read as follows. Tony Lundy and Joe Cusano 60-53, John Stewart 60-54, all three for your winner by unanimous decision. He's still undefeated, Shahram Wonderboy Giyasov.
So Giyasov runs his record to 2-0. And for Gabor Gorbic, he is now 24-11, and he's a guy that he's one of those guys I think nobody wants to fight.
No, I mean, because it's difficult to look good against